know. So it's been about 9 months, and a lot has happened. I hope I'll be able to tell you about what happened. We didn't just go away for the sake of going away. A couple of things happened, but I would really like to tell you it's good to be back. And we're going to do our best to stay focused, stay committed, and stay consistent with you. So thank you. Thank you so much for coming back. And please share, tell your friends, and and send in your comments. Our focus right now is going to be helping SMEs understand how to build and rebuild their brands. There's been a lot of disruptions over the past 9 months. Lulu, are you ready? Can I add you now? Okay, this is better.
Okay. I tried to go outside, but trust the English weather, it's drizzling.
Yeah. It's drizzling in Port Harcourt too, but not with the cold that you have over there.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is brighter. I can see you.
Okay.
I can see you now. Okay. So I was just actually welcoming everybody who is online. We've been away for 9 months, and as I said to them, a lot can happen in 9 months.
Actually.
You know, a lot can happen in 9 months. And also reminding everyone that the focus of Unplugged is that we are helping SMEs understand how to build, rebuild, sustain their brands. And everything will become clearer as we go deeper into our conversations. And over the next 4 Thursdays, we're going to talk about grit and branding.
Okay.
And what we've done is to line up people we believe are branding specialists and people who are entrepreneurs who will share with us from their perspectives, their learnings, and help all of us have a diverse and a helicopter view of this subject.
Excellent.
So it is my pleasure to introduce our first guest on the replugged version of Unplugged. He's my good friend. He is who I'd call a thoroughbred professional. And as one of my Unplugged friends called him, he's a platinum standard. I mean, someone said that about you, Lulu. I didn't make it up. He says you're the platinum standard. You're the platinum standard when it comes to marketing communications. So, Lulu, there's a lot lying on your shoulders. Hey, I'm just here to ask you questions. You know, there's a lot I could tell you. You could check the link in our bio on Instagram to check. But I'd like to just call your attention to this book. Can you see it? Skin for Skin, the Prima Garnet story. Now, Skin for Skin will tell you a whole lot. Lulu didn't ask me to sell this book. Trust me, he would not ask me to do it, you know. But I find out that if you want to know a lot about the man and what he's done, and read this book, Skin for Skin, the Prima Garnet story. It'll tell you a lot about him. It'll tell you a lot about the battles he's fought. It'll tell you about him as a personal brand, and it'll tell you a lot about grit. I couldn't think about someone who would be better to talk to us about grit. And I hope that as we go on in this conversation, we will be able to share some of your personal stories about grit and also the grit required for brand building, Lolu. So welcome, 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 Lolu.
Thank you very much, Julia, for a very lavish introduction.
Well, I could do better if you want. Okay. So, Lolu, in recent times, I hear, and I'm sure you've heard, the term brand has been bandied around freely. So this is my first question, my opening salvo. When you start a business, do you automatically move from being a business idea to being a brand?
It's a very interesting question, and it's one that I've been asked a few times. maybe if I give two definitions, one or both should answer that question. I remember in my days growing up in Linters in the early 80s, a brand was simply product plus name, full stop, which meant uh, sunlight was soap and then plus the name. Volkswagen was car and the name. It was simple, it was basic, and life was so easy, and I wish we'd left it at that. But we have a group of people in marketing who every day will not leave things as they are. They keep probing, they keep um, developing. I mean, it's helped us all. And one of my most profound definitions, and I'll still come back to the question he asked, is the one given by my former chairman when I was when we were a member of Ogilvy, the amazing Shirley Lazarus. And she went on to say that a brand is not just the name, a brand is the totality of the customer's experience, from seemingly little things like the way the receptionist answers the call, the look and feel of the delivery trucks, everything that happens around that product is a makeup of the brand. And she said something that I found so that I haven't forgotten. And she said that the brand is the most valuable asset of any company. And I remember she gave us an example that as Unilever, as big as it was then, if you took away the brand, all you had left were just the fancy buildings and all. So my answer to your first question is yes, because a brand develops from the mind, from the heart. It is not until there's something physical on the ground that you have a brand. A brand starts first as the imagination, and then you give life onto it by doing certain things and all that and all that. So a brand is first of all in the mind of the owner, and then you begin to project it in whatever direction that you want. So the answer to your question is yes.
Okay, so it is perfectly okay for someone who just starts out, let's say a sewing, fashion design, to say, so my brand is, but let me stay on that a little bit. When that is the dot dot dot, my brand is dot dot dot. Don't you have to explain, describe what makes up my brand? Can I just say my brand is fashion design and the name is Julia Sparkles?
Your
Is that
brand is
enough?
not, no. Your brand is in the fashion design. Fashion design is your vocation. It is what you do.
Okay.
I mean, your brand is what you have invested on physically and psychologically to project what you do. What you do is fashion designing, but your brand is Julia fashion designer, or whatever name you wish to call it. When you give an identity to whatever you do or what you produce, that is the beginning of building a brand. A brand, first of all, starts with an identity, name, color, size, whatever. Those are the components of a brand, and you keep on building and building to it and adding to it until it becomes a mega brand like Coca-Cola or Nike.
Okay. Now, what I'm taking away is that we can keep it simple
Oh
and
yes,
say it's the products and the name,
yeah,
or it can be the totality of the name, the product, the look and feel, and how it makes you feel as a customer.
and
All
and
of
es-
those things
and
become the brand.
especially what the customer experiences. The customer experience
Okay,
is
the
so
experiential part of it. Yeah.
yes, it's so critical to the makeup of the brand. That is why you and I will enter a shop and we'll be looking. You pass through a type of orange drink and you won't touch it, and then you see Fanta, and then you go near it because Fanta has succeeded in branding itself into your mind, either by experience or by description from what other people have experienced.
And also perhaps by longevity, by the sheer fact that it's been there for so long and the experience has been maybe I'm not talking about Fanta now, but the experience has been maybe not a horrible experience, but it's been fair enough for people to go. I mean, if I go to a strange place and I see other orange drinks and I see Fanta, yeah, I'll go for Fanta because even if I don't like orange drinks, that is what I know.
Because
so there is that.
I was going to add that one of the things that a brand does is that it gives you confidence.
Absolutely.
Once we traveled to Togo or Benin, I can't remember, I was thirsty. And we saw over 15 cola drinks. And we were quite nervous. We couldn't take them. We didn't know what to do. And then suddenly somebody saw Coca-Cola. Even though it was made in Togo, it wasn't Coca-Cola made in Nigeria. We felt very comfortable because it was a brand we were all used to. We assumed that Coca-Cola would always be Coca-Cola. There's no need to be afraid.
Right. Okay. I was going to ask you your favorite definition of a brand and why, but I think you wrapped it up very,
By far, my favorite is the one I have.
Yeah.
I'm actually writing a book, and I think I have about 50 definitions of brands in it. But by far, and it's not because I was part of Ogilvy, by far, the most accomplished definition is the one by Shelley Lazarus, the former chairman CEO of Ogilvy. It captures and describes everything that a brand is and what it ought to be.
Okay, my favorite, and I can't remember who it was. I hope I didn't make it up. Is that the brand is an intrinsic and extrinsic bundle of benefits.
I don't know who said that, but at one time, I think it was one of our popular definitions.
Yes. Yeah, but I think there's just to help people who run SMEs and other people who are listening in, and thank you for coming on board. To know as you're starting off or you're on your journey already, this is what branding is, and this is what a brand is. So Lolu, what would you say are the key markers that signify that what you offer is not generic? I guess I'm asking about the USP. Is USP still a thing? What's the differentiating factor? What are the markers that we should look out for?
Well, let's take something we're all familiar with. Let's take banking. At one time in the life of Prima Garnet, we had 13 bank clients simply because we were fortunate to take one of them, Crystal Bank, to CNN. And then everybody else came and said, we had to work with them. Whatever you did for Crystal Bank, you had to do with us. At a very basic level, banks offer pretty much the same thing. Bring in your money, we'll keep it. Come and take it. Pretty basic things. At least in Nigeria, I'm not talking about other places. And one of the biggest challenges we had was to try and create something unique for every bank so that it would be branded and be different from the next bank, even though all of them offer the same thing. So we had to do, and one bank that I really like what they are doing in this, I think is one bank that you helped to launch. I remember you launched this bank, and that's GTB.
Okay. Yeah.
GTB has moved from just a bank. They've invested in the lifestyle. They've invested in lifestyle. Even though it's a bank, they've invested massively in lifestyle as part of standing about. They do food exhibitions. They do all kinds of things. And as
Fashion. Yeah.
fashion. And I think whoever is advising them is doing a brilliant work. And this is one of the things that all brands, all serious brands need to do. What is my competitor doing? Even though I'm doing the same thing, is either I do it better or I do it differently, or I do what they are not doing. Those are the three rules. It's either I look at what they are doing and say, yes, I'll do it, but I'll do it better, or I'll do it differently, or I'll do something entirely different. These are the three rules that guide trying to differentiate your brand from your competitors.
I think this breaks it down so simply. But this is the part of the strategy that I keep thinking for small businesses,
Yeah,
small and medium businesses. How do we how do they sit down and think about this?
yeah,
But the hard work has to be put in, you
yeah.
know. Yes. The hard work has to be put in.
The
And so
thing,
I yeah, go on please.
unfortunately, when we talk to small businesses and SMEs, the impression, which is not correct, they have is that, oh, for you to brand, you need to spend an awful lot of money. I will keep telling them that no, you don't have to. You only have to do an awful lot of thinking. You can be a small or you can be a small or medium. I know a brand, I'm not going to mention the name, and they've become so associated with polo at the polo club. And I know that they're not spending much. And they're so visible and it's having an impact on them. They chose that niche. It's not a big brand at all. If you were to put value on what they're doing, I doubt very much if it's costing them more than, 10 million a year, where their competitors are spending 20, 30, 40, 50. So first off, and part of the problem is many of them don't want to work with professionals who can advise them. They believe if we go to Julia is going to be too expensive. If we go to Lulu is going to be too expensive. And every time I tell them that, look, you cannot spend, I can't put my money in your pocket and begin to spend your money. The only money I can spend is the money that you give me access to.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
I can give you a lot of ideas that will make you well known. More importantly, stand you out from what your competitor or your competitors are doing. You know.
Okay, so guys, you heard it here. I'm sure it's not the first time you heard it, but you heard it to stand out, do it better, do it differently, and do something your competition is not doing. But it's
Absolutely.
critical for you to know who your competition is. And
Absolutely.
this is multidimensional because in today's world, your competition may not be just the fashion designer down the road.
Ah,
Could be it's so dimensionalized that you really
you don't believe. The other day I was talking to the marketing manager of a soft drinks company, and we were generally, throwing information around. And he said, "Oh, I'm worried about so people." And I said, "Why?" I said, "They're into water." He said, anything that will make somebody spend their 1 naira
Mhm.
on what they should have been spending on my product is a competitor, whether it's water, whether it's recharge card, whether it's
Absolutely.
this on that. And,
Yeah.
I thought it was quite. But if you talk to most brand owners, they restrict themselves to what their primary competitors are doing. And I think they should broaden the scope and think wider.
Okay. Well, we have a question here from our audience, and let me read it from a CN. It says, "Has brand creation to do with perception and all the various components of all that?" Um, that's brand creation, be it an organization, a corporation, a personality, or only, or even someone on the street. Does brand creation have to do with perception and all the various components we have mentioned? I guess that takes us to the personal brand and the corporate brand. Do we use the same um, hacks, the same tools to define and to build brand, personal brand, and so on?
There are some tools that are common in application. I mean, you can't do anything about that. Every brand needs to have a name. Every brand needs to have this and that. And there are certain things, but at a certain level, there are other things you need to do. That's why one of the first things you need to do is to study your brand. What is your brand? What do you want to make of it? What do you want to turn it into? Everybody calls themselves fashion designers. How do you want to be different, even though you are a fashion designer yourself? How do you want to be seen differently? Because at the end of the day, don't forget, Julia, it is that extra bit that you do that people pay for. That is what becomes your premium asset. That is why instead of people sewing a coat for 20,000 naira, they'll spend 40,000 with you because they have the sense that what you are offering is premium. So for everything you are doing, at a point, you've got to create and introduce premiumness into it.
Lolu, can you break down that premiumness?
Okay,
Because I have some people online who are small and starting off, and they would like to hear from you. Yes.
I'll give you an example. A few years ago, there was a guy on Allen Avenue called Speedy's Creation. And all he did was to go to Italy and bring in very good men's clothes. But he wasn't doing it alone. If you walked down the street, there will be about 5 or 6 of them. But he created, he made it sound as if what he was selling was better. In fact, he used to say that, oh, those people, we meet in Italy, but what they're selling is not what I'm selling. But at the end of the day, you actually find out that it's the same thing. But the way he has decorated his office, the way they receive you, the comfort of where you are going to sit. As soon as you come in, they offer you a cup of tea. It's all different. It gives you the impression that you are very special to them. So they're already creating an impression on you. That is the kind of brand that they're selling. By the time they bring their bill and tell you that it's 40,000, even though you've seen the same thing at 20, you get the sense that, well, I think what I'm getting here is better than what I'm getting there. So they're creating a niche, they're creating a premiumness, and that is all part of their brand building.
Okay.
Let me add this. Most soaps are made up of palm oil or palm kernel oil and glycerin, and they do the same thing.
Absolutely.
And some add perfume, some don't add perfume. How come they sell some soap for 5 naira and they sell some for 35 naira? Why?
Premiumness.
Yes, the quality of the wrapper, the freshness of the perfume, the kind of model they've used on the wrapper, so many things. All of this.
How long it lasts? Yeah.
Even though it's still basic soap that they're selling.
Okay. I have hi Benjamin. Thank you for Benjamin. Benjamin was the one that said you're the platinum standard. So I'm not going to take credit for that. Thank you for joining us today. I'm going to take your question, but I want to ask Lulu a question first, and it's to do with how personal brands intermingle with corporate brands. Just yesterday, I was casually watching TV, and I know you absolutely love football, and I will not mention the name of your preferred brand, you know, you know, and I saw Mourinho. I can't remember his name. Is it Jose? Jose Mourinho?
Jose Moreno, yes.
Yeah. I saw him advertising a bank. Now
Mm,
that got my attention. Why did it
mm,
get my attention? I guess we'd call it that premiumness. Who
mm,
he is as a personal brand, as a person, what he's come to be identified with and as made me take a second look when the adverts came along again.
mm,
I was like, okay, if Mourinho is advertising, is being a spokes or face of a brand, then maybe I need to pay attention. Never
mm,
mind that that bank is not available here in Nigeria, but it's a global world.
mm.
But it made me pay attention, and now I can remember it. Now, isn't that a great way of intersecting a personal brand with a corporate brand?
Well, however you want to look at it, Jose Mourinho is big and is a big brand. Forget
Yeah,
his tantrums. He's possibly one of the most successful managers in recent times. He has to be. He has to be. The only thing he hasn't tried to do over the years is make himself very, very marketable because he throws tantrums, because
yeah,
of all the things that he does. But somebody must have recognized at one point that in this brand is something that we can take away from. Don't forget that a brand can do two things for your brand. Moreno can actually make people love your brand or make people dislike your brand. It
yeah.
depends on how they feel. Well, I saw the advert. I saw the advert that
Okay,
you mentioned. I saw it on television, but I saw that it was safe. The role he played wasn't. He didn't say much. They were trying more to try and infuse his personality on whatever they were doing. And I think it's a safe ad, and definitely Moreno is not too bad. It's not too bad, given the string of successes that he has had in the last 15 or 20 years.
yeah. And given the fact that non-football lovers like us have come to know him and the tantrums, yeah. So I
Whatever you
mean,
say
yeah,
about him, the point is still that he's possibly the greatest name today in football management. He's won every trophy you can win
yeah.
in Europe plus more. He's got many things going for him. His credentials
Okay,
are strong.
yeah, very strong. So the question from Benjamin is, what should determine the positioning an SME decides to take regarding the real estates they occupy in the minds of their clients?
Sorry,
Who
can
should
you,
determine?
who should
Who should
determine what?
determine the positioning an SME decides to take regarding the real estate they occupy in the minds of their clients?
Well,
Um,
there's this saying that the consumer owns the brand. The owner is just a custodian. Uh, Coca Nigerian breweries may be producing Star and Maltin and all, but their consumers own that brand in the sense that they can make or mar the brand. If they choose on mass that we are not drinking Star again, then there's a whole lot of problem. So while a lot of work is going to be done by the SME and the people you've mentioned in establishing a brand, at some point you've got to hand that brand over to the consumer. The consumer owns the brand. All you are doing is to help them manage it and make it appealing so that they can continue to patronize you. The consumer owns the brand.
I think in a large extent, Benjamin, I hope that answers your question. I'd like to say to a large extent, this really holds true in the world of sports. I mean, I don't like staying up late, but I will stay up late to watch Serena Williams any day. And I've been following that particular brand for years. And I know I don't like gymnastics, but having watched Simone Biles in the was that Brazil, the Olympics, and what she did, I was a little bit disappointed, but I understood what she was going through and what she said she was going through. You know, and I guess that's what you say. You mean that we own the brand, and I feel that we make when you get to love a brand, I think it becomes a lifelong love affair. You know, you make excuses for the brand, you explain the brand, you find people into football. Oh, thank you. Was that Tokyo, Jimmy? No, 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 no. It was what she did in the other. That was the Brazil Olympics, not this one. That's when she burst into the limelight. Okay, and it's really what people like football, and my husband likes those other people whose name has United in their name. And you love another one, and there is nothing that would make him change. He's in love. He's in love with it. So is that something that we should say that brands, you should make your brand, you should make your consumers fall in love with the brand so that with your brand, so that they become your brand ambassadors. Really, they are the real influencers.
Yeah. There are various stages. The highest stage, especially for football clubs, is, let me use my club as an example, Arsenal.
He said it, guys. I didn't say it.
You know how much bashing we get?
Yes.
I mean, when people say, "Oh, you don't have any trophies and all that and stuff," but we have become so emotionally entangled, linked, fused with Arsenal that even when we are not winning any trophies, even when we are very unhappy at the end of every season, you still remain with that brand. It's a very, very strong emotional connection. And that is the highest connection that a consumer and a brand can have. If it wasn't so strong, I probably would leave Arsenal and go and begin to support another club. And every brand owner must build its brand up to the point where that emotional connection must be very, very, very strong, no matter what happens, no matter what anybody says. This is the brand of beer I'm going to drink. This is the brand of soap I'm going to use, and all that. It is the highest engagement level between the brand and the consumer. Who really is the brand? Who really is the brand owner? It's a very emotional thing. There's nothing you can say.
It is.
It's very, very strongly emotional.
It is. It is totally. It is. You know. So this is a key lesson I see that SMEs can learn from the big corporates regarding branding. That you may start it, you may slap the logo on, you may put it on the street, but truly, you don't own the brand. You are just the. Did you say the custodian or the producer?
You're just keeping the brand for the real owners.
For the real owners, yeah. You're just the caretaker. You're just the caretaker, but be a good caretaker.
That's a very good name. You're just a caretaker.
Yeah. Be a great caretaker that in such a way that you want people to fall in love.
Absolutely.
Because when people start talking about your brand, to other people and you don't pay them for it, then you know you're onto a winner.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
you're onto a winner.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's pivot and talk about disruption, grit, and brands. The past 18 months or so have been extremely disruptive. And that is the most polite and kindest word I can use. I'd like to share a quote. I don't really do quotes too well, but this one hits me. He said, it's by a lady called Mary Oliver. I says, someone I loved once gave me a box full of darkness. It took me years to understand that this too was a gift. Someone I loved once gave me a box full of darkness. It took me years to understand that this too was a gift. We've had a box of darkness globally, nationally, continentally. How has it affected the whole notion of branding, ability to even build a brand in this point? Has it been a gift? What would you say?
I think part of what you said, I must have missed it. Gave a box of what?
Darkness.
Darkness, like in light.
Yes, the opposite of light. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Can you then repeat that? Gave you.
Okay. Someone I loved once gave me a box full of darkness.
Yes.
It took me years to understand that this too was a gift,
Mm.
that the darkness was a gift.
Mm.
And I see this metaphorically as all the disruption, the fear, the losses in human terms, in financial terms, in all the terms you can imagine that we have
Mm.
had to go through globally
Mm.
and also nationally and continentally.
In the last.
And this in the last 18 to 24 months.
Mm.
Yes. So how do you think branding has this affected this whole global disruption and darkness? Has it affected branding?
It has generally. I mean, I spoke. I was a key speaker at the National Marketing, the Nigerian Marketing Association. I was a key speaker at their conference last year. And the one thing everybody accepted was that nobody was prepared for what was coming. First of all, while the rest of the world was prospering, Nigeria was already, our economy was bad. And then when COVID-19 came, it simply sank us lower. And the result is what no matter how you look at it, um, I feel sorry for people doing business in Nigeria because at some point other countries began to recover. We have not experienced any kind of recovery at all. On the other hand, also, COVID-19 has changed the way we all work. Take our industry, for example. We used to report every day at work, 8 or 8:30 to 5 or 5:30. For the last 1 year, we all worked from home and all that. It's also changed. Um, it's changed everything around us. It's changed the kinds of goods that we make. Suddenly, some goods are no longer important. Whoever thought Zoom would become such a big brand? Zoom was always
Absolutely.
Zoom was always there, but I mean, it's become such a key brand. Even if you go to media, suddenly uh, TV has become a prime medium. Nobody's reading newspapers again, TV and radio, because a lot of people are at home. And so they are held captive. There are captive audiences at home. And you're either watching your TV or listening to your radio. So we have to commission a lot of fresh usage and habit tests to determine how to market our brand. And because, for example, the economy is so poor, a lot of smart clients are already producing budget brands, things that are not so expensive, but that people will still need. So it's changed the way we all used to do business. It's changed the kind of product that we have brought into the market. And it's changed things like pricing. It's changed everything, and it's still going to keep on happening. It's something we're not prepared for, but which we're having to manage. Like I even said, media usage and habit, and so so many things. Fewer product launches, and when people are launching products, they are launching them towards a population that is not very productive, that is not earning much. The disposable income is not just there, and
it's not disposable.
And yet you need to sell. So what do you sell to them? So it's a whole lot of new parameters about doing businesses. And if you notice, let me mention a product category, and I'm going to mention the brands. Look at Coca-Cola and the Pepsi axis, and look at a startup brand called Biggie. Biggie, they make, and you won't believe I had access to some research. More people, especially in the DE, even C groups, are encroaching into the market of Coca-Cola and Pepsi. Nobody is talking about premiumness anymore. I just want a cola drink. And then they started making them in big bottles. And I can assure you all of this are giving the big boys a lot of headache. They are riding totally on the current situation that we have. If we didn't have COVID, if we didn't have problems, very few people would want to go to buy a product like
some of these brands.
Yes, but the situation has mandated them, to do that. So there are changes all around us. We are part of the changes. We are instrumental to the changes, and it's going to continue this way for a long time.
So there's a lot of being able to pivot that we need. I mean,
don't forget,
I really didn't want to use that word, pivot.
All of these things also create an opportunity for some people. If you remember, during the period right after the Second World War in America, when a lot of people lost their fortunes, America also created its largest number of millionaires because people were producing bootleg whiskey that people needed to drink to kill their to kill whatever it was they're going to. So they produce a lot of millionaires. So that is what is happening now. While people like maybe the big boys are complaining, there are smaller brands that are coming in that people will buy because they're affordable and they meet their basic needs. So it's a big opportunity for them. Every bad situation is not necessarily bad. If you look at it very well, it creates an opportunity for some people.
So we do have a very young demographic, relatively young demographic, with people who are restless. So, like Benjamin said here, they're evolving from TV to smart devices, and mobile is the new TV. You can watch your almost everything on your device. And
your mobile phone is everything. For most people, it's never more than 10, 15 meters away from them, even if
mine is right here.
From it, you
It's
can
my
listen
office.
to, depending on the sophistication of your set, you can watch film, you can listen to radio, you can read the news. It's giving the traditional TV a lot of fight. It's just amazing the trends that are. I mean, if I want to reach 50 million people within 5 minutes, I can't use TV, I can't use radio. I can only use the mobile phone.
Yes, absolutely. So, Lulu, how does grit come into this, and how would you define grit?
Great for me is the ability to be ready to take a chance. I like the saying that says, if you try, you may succeed. If you don't try, you have already failed.
Yeah.
And even if you fail, people don't forget that even if you fail, there's a learning from failure. It is called
Absolutely.
experience. So when you go back again, you know that there are
Yeah.
certain things that you cannot or will not do. And a silent revolution is going on in Nigeria that many people are not aware. Our demographics, especially from, let's say, age 17, 18, 19 to about 30, are producing amazing things that people like the owners of Facebook and Twitter and Co have recognized. We have
Yeah.
people in that category that are taking chances. All they need is their laptop and their mobile phone. They are even investing, they're producing apps that all these foreign companies are buying. So there's a quiet revolution going on there. They're not investing in manufacturing, they're investing in tech, which is what India started doing. And in a few years, I see Nigeria being a center. What's the name of the owner of Facebook now? Only God knows how many visits he's made to
Zuckerberg.
Nigeria. Yeah, he's made to Nigeria. And the head of Africa for Facebook was my colleague in Ogilvy, and we speak periodically.
Okay.
And she says it's amazing what is going on in Nigeria, that the opportunities in Nigeria are just awesome. That without any doubt, Nigeria will lead. Nigeria is leading Africa, including South Africa, in this. That Nigerians are just so adventurous. They've got the grit. They never give up. They see a light at the end of the tunnel, and I think it's very good for the entire nation moving forward for the future.
So that's something that I believe the big brands can learn. That's nimbleness and that willingness to take a chance.
Yeah,
Because I know the
yeah,
older you have, when you have all your brand books and your do's and don'ts, it gets a little bit difficult to turn the ship midstream. But you just have to be nimble because these young people will develop an app.
they are not
It
held.
works.
They are
It
not
doesn't
held
have. They've
down by
gone.
Julia. They are not held down by any rules at all.
No, they're not held down by any rules. They're not. They're not.
Yeah.
But I guess there's going to come a time where I was watching about 2 weeks ago. I was watching. I'm one of those people who's actually migrated to TV a lot for information,
Okay.
And I was watching something on social media
Mhm.
about social media, and this was in Ireland, and they actually have their standards and advertising standards
Mhm.
association that has their guidelines on how you can present
Understand.
certain things on
Yeah,
social media. So I guess we will get to that point
you
because,
will.
yeah, we will get to that point. We have to. Yes, Jimmy Banks, we never give up. Well, I have to give a special shout out to my first guy, Jimmy Bankole. If I can write anything these days,
Oh,
it's he who taught me.
I was chatting with him just yesterday. We're in touch nearly every day.
Okay. Yeah. Jimmy, thank you very much. Thank you for never giving up on me. Yeah. Thank you. Yes. So I really do like this. When I was thinking about grit, I was thinking about it as resilience and
Yeah,
coming back when you've been knocked down. But I do
yeah,
really like this.
yeah,
It's all that, but that readiness to take a chance, not to just
absolutely.
get up, get up and stand in the same place, but take it from a different angle and
Yeah.
see. Let's just do it and see. It may work, you know.
Yeah.
So Lulu, I want
I
to bring
think
it home to you.
okay.
And I want to bring it back to skin. Guys, if you haven't bought this book, I'm trying to get you to say Skin for Skin, the Prima Garnet story. He's not going to pay me for advertising it, and you can
I
get
can't
it.
even afford to pay you.
Lulu, just pay me. It's okay. Insult me with payments. I don't
Well,
mind.
Julia, let me announce it because most of the people watching us don't know that Julia actually edited this book, and he also introduced it in front of everybody, including the Vice President of
Vice
Nigeria.
President. Oh
So,
yeah.
Julia, I'd like to thank you again and again for helping make the book what it is.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me in. But I think you can get this book at we will post Lulu's
Yeah,
email.
it's on. You can get it, or you can buy it almost everywhere.
Okay.
Mm.
It's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon. Yeah.
Okay. Or you can also reach him directly at
Mm.
Lolu Akinwunmi. Okay, she's going to post it
Okay.
right now. Okay, she's going to post it right now. But it's a great book. It's a great book. I'd like you to share because we have a couple of people here who have gone through things, who've been knocked down for one reason or the other, personal reasons. I have been knocked down for the past 9 months. I've been knocked down. My husband was ill, very ill, and that knocked down the entire focus of the business because I had to now move into wife mode,
Mm.
you know. So, what is my question? Yes, anything can knock you down. It's, you know, what makes it possible for you for a brand to keep standing, whether you are an SME or a big brand? What makes it possible for you to?
I mean, Julian, I'm happy you have read the book. I use that as an example, and it was a very simple proposition. We were part of the biggest global network, WPP, and at some point the firm we had done so well, they wanted to take us over, own majority, and we said no. Why? I mean, you can't do that. You are building your own brand, and you want to kill our own brand, and that was it. And we were in court for 5 years, and at the end of the day, we came out winners, and all that and all that. But I mean, we could have made a lot of money if we sold to them because they offered us fairly good money. But when your soul and everything about you is on a project, it goes beyond just making money. You know, the idea, you're using that place as a channel to reach people. Prima Garnet is not just about advertising and making money. We will helping, and we're still helping to change lives, to breed young people, to infuse certain values into them. They saw money, you know, we have always seen more than that. And what I'm going to tell people is that if your mind, your soul is on something, don't let anything or anyone stop you or discourage you. Fight for it and keep it and grow it. It doesn't have to be as big as what Dangote have, but you'd be surprised that if it's just 10, 20, 50 people whose lives you are able to touch, those 50 people will touch another 50 people. And before you know it, there's a ricochet. And it leaves a vertigo effect. And you'll be surprised the difference that you are making. I'm happy we didn't sell out to WPP. Yeah, times are difficult now, but I mean, I'm so sure that better times are still coming.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Lulu. You've really backgrounded a lot of this conversation that we're going to continue for the next 3 weeks to come. And
Okay.
you've given us some incredible nuggets, some of which I'm going to own. And I hope I remember to tell people that it was from you that I got it, but they sound so organic that they could have come from my mouth. You know. And I'd like to end up by asking everyone, listen, Lolu, if you had three things, must do's that you would tell an SME to do in order to start again or build a brand, what are those three must do's?
The first for me is that they must work with professionals, serious professionals, either accountants, marketing people. Unfortunately, many of them, and I've had reasons to deal with about at least five, six, seven of them, they don't see beyond their primary vision. No matter how strong your vision is, you will need some people to support you. Jesus came with a vision, but he still needed 12 people to support him. He didn't
Yes.
run. I mean, Jesus is God. He could have run alone, immensely powerful. But by gathering 12 people around him, he was sending a message to us that you always need support. You will need people around you. So be very professional. Have the right people around you. Number two, do things properly. Set up a proper company structure. It's not me and my wife and children limited. Do
Ouch.
it, run it properly, put up a proper structure in place. Either you are there or not, that will make it go. We have companies in the UK here that have been on since 1731. Body Shop's owner died a couple of years ago. They're still producing and selling. That is telling us
Yes.
something. So have an eye on that. And number three, make sure people don't make sure that not only are you well funded, whatever monies that you make, you have to invest back in the business. It's not when you've made your first money, you go and build a house in your village and all that. And in 10 years,
Or marry a new wife.
I'll marry a new wife. And in 10 years, what started quite well has become a shadow of its former step. You've got to have a strong vision. You've got to have an eye on the future. You've got to think well and think great and have a vision of doing something great and enduring. I think if we start from these three areas, quite a lot of the other things will fall in place.
Thank you so much. I'm taking down so many notes. Have a vision of being great and enduring. I think that's one thing that we tend to forget. We tend to just think small, especially with the economy, the politics, the
Yeah.
political milieu being what it is. We tend to think, let me just get by,
Mm.
and was it Nelson Mandela? Am I quoting him correctly? That said, I'm really not good in quotations. That said that we gain nothing by thinking small. I think so. It's part of a bigger quotation. I
Mm.
have Jimmy Banks here. I have my sister
Mm.
Geraldine here. You know, So I'm sure but we really
Mm.
stand to gain nothing or by thinking small. And I'd
Mm.
really like to thank you, Lulu, for
Thank you very much, Julia, for inviting me.
first of all, from transiting from being a friend of me to being a friend, because we used to look at each other sideways like, what's Prima Garnet doing? What's SLU doing?
I'll
And
never forget, Julia, the early days when Jimmy, of course, had always been my friend from Unilag, and I would see you, and in my mind, you were almost, and I would tell Jimmy, why is she so, and everybody had the impression that Julia is cocky and all that. I won't take nonsense from anybody. And Jimmy would keep on laughing and all that. Say, you guys don't know her. You guys don't know her and all that and stuff. In fact, we mentioned you sometime last week, and the two of
oh,
us
really?
we had such a big laugh. He still got his sense of humor. He still
Oh
has.
yeah. Oh yeah.
If you don't mind me saying, he's still as crazy as ever.
He is. He is. That's my corporate group head. He's as crazy as anything. And he woke up at 3 to be here. And Lolu, you got all the way from Dorset County, which is one of my favorite places on the universe, you know. But thank you very much
Thank you very much, Julia.
for being with us.
Thank you
Yes,
so much.
And
And
I
I wish
know
you all
your
the
being here
best.
today is even an example of grit.
Yes, I wish you
Yeah.
all the best in this, and I pray it grows big and touches the lives of many people.
Thank you. This is our seed, and we are sowing it, and we are thinking big for it. So
Okay.
join us next week for another edition of Unplugged. Lolu, we'll probably call you back another time.
Anytime. You know,
Thank you very much, everybody.
You need to ask. Thank you so much.
I will ask.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Enjoy yourself. And
thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for coming back to us. Bye-bye.